So we recently found out that car dealerships are getting your permission to steal your data. A lot of people are buying cars today and they don't realize that their car is actually collecting data on them more than they thought they should. For those of you that don't care, then so what? What's going to happen? Well, your car insurance could go up. Some of the companies that they're sharing this data are companies that are tied to car insurance. Let's use LexisNexis. That's the number one spot where car insurances go to collect data. Any claims, any accidents, any MVRs, we call it motor vehicle reports, and Clue reports, which is essentially your claims history. Those are pulled from a company called LexisNexis, the central hub where all the insurance companies get the data from, at least most of them, and then that's where they come up with these prices. They're also collecting what you do with your vehicle based on these new technologies. You ever seen OnStar in your car? I think there's something called Blue something with the BMWs. Those are meant to be beneficial. If you get in a car accident, OnStar kicks in, knows you had a car accident, but the car knows how fast you're going. The car knows how quickly you brake. And that's one of the discounts that insurance companies give is something called a telematic. But if you've openly shared your data and your agent takes your data in, and you've got to actually give them permission. So if the agent takes the data in and you've given permission, they can use that for or against you when you're purchasing insurance. Now, GM and Ford are the two most common that are doing this, even though there's other manufacturers that are. I'll list them here in just a moment, but what they've been doing for years, and when I was working as an agent 10 years ago, they were doing this to where they were allowing us to pull the preloaded data from the car that would show us how good of a driver you are, how many miles you actually drove. So a lot of people in benefit did really good and they got more of a discount than didn't. So there is a benefit, but did you share that information knowingly and willingly? It's personal data that you've got to be careful with. To go a little bit further, to go outside the insurance part, is there's a company called Mozilla, and they did a huge report on this where it wasn't just collecting the mileage and the speed and all of that. There was 17 plus points of interest that they're looking for. So they're getting your biometric permission. That's what your phone does when you look at it and it unlocks. It legally has to have your biometric permission to see your face unlock the phone. So if you have one of the smartphones and that's the way it goes, the phone's allowed to do that, but that doesn't allow the apps to do that. So the car, when you purchase it or lease it, you may want to find out in the rating whether or not that's allowed. If not, then make sure you sign off and say, I don't want that happening. Hopefully it's not a condition of purchasing a vehicle. How does car actually use it? So let's use the telematics, for example, because that's exactly what they're trying to do in the insurance world. That's all they care about. Probably. Who knows in the future? We might care about what color shoes you have on, and that might make a difference on the price. I doubt it, but you never know. The four main things that they're looking for is one, speed. Not all companies care. Companies like Nationwide don't care about your speed. Companies like State Farm, I believe last time I checked, they care about how fast you go. Your braking, that's the biggest thing. Everybody cares about how quickly you brake and how quickly you accelerate, which is the third one, acceleration. The number of miles that you're driving to and from location. Also, the territory that you're driving is the other major piece. They want to know, at least car companies do, whether you drive to the grocery store and then drive home, and then drive home, and then drive home, and then drive home, and then to the grocery store and then drive home. That's perfect. They love that. But if you go to a friend's house, cousin's house, grocery store, home, across town, to the mall, to here, you go on a country trip, that's risky. They don't want you on the road as much as possible, although that's you either way. So if that's the type of person, then you definitely don't want it tracking you in that aspect. Now, the big benefit that I've seen with these is when you buy a car used and they let you use the data, car insurance companies don't care. They just want the data coming from the vehicle. So even when you buy it used, they still know that it's coming from someone else. They'll still take the data from the car, and sometimes that gives you a discount. So if that's the case, allowing them to have that data does benefit you at some level. You can usually turn this off. You'll probably have to call the manufacturer or call the OnStar or call your insurance company just to make sure that they aren't pulling your data. Just ask them if they have any type of tracking software built into your computer. For car insurance, we just call it telematics. That's the common term across the industry. So call your agent, just say, do I have any telematics turned on? Nope, great, leave it off. Yes, great, turn it off. Now, keep in mind, most of those give you at least a 10% discount initially, and then if you show and prove that you're a good driver, they can give you up to 40, even 50% off of your insurance. So there is a benefit to sharing the data. My personal opinion is as long as it's a temporary share, which is what mine was, is I can only share it for 90 days and then I can turn it off. I've deleted the app, removed it, it's gone, and I still saved $600 on my policy. Now there's some cool pieces because other apps, what they'll do is they'll allow you to continue it if you're like, I just don't care. Watch me all day long if you want. See how many miles I drive. And what they'll do is some of the apps will actually improve the discount but never remove it. So if you did good for the 90 days, great, there you go. Don't turn it off, keep going. You can get more and more of a discount. Obviously, you're going to need to talk to the agent to find out if that's a fit. If you are trying to learn a little bit more about the telematics, I've got a video here that goes a little bit more in depth on that. If you're coming up to a renewal or just trying to figure out whether you should have it, add it, what type of prices change with your renewal, I've got a Renewal 101 video here that's going to go in depth on that. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. We'll see you in the next one.